While we talked so much about Google search ads, it would be only unfair to talk about the few more good performance units that Google Ads has to offer. And we are going to be talking about three specifically. One is display, and we are going to be talking about YouTube, and then we are going to touch upon Google Shopping as well. So let's start with display advertising. So we talked about this a little earlier. If you remember, display advertisings are the banner ads that pop up in different websites. Now, Google Display Network is the ad network that can help you place your display and banner ads in over 90% of the websites on the internet. Okay, over 90%. Look at this market share that these guys are having, and not just websites. GDN can help you place ads on apps and some video channels too. GDN is kind of linked with YouTube. The targeting that they offer are almost similar, and a YouTube video can run on Google Display Network. Similarly, a Google Display Network banner can show up on a YouTube while you're watching some YouTube videos, and it can pop up as a banner as well. All right. Uh, Now, Google Display Network is more like Facebook, unlike Google Search, where we talked about intent a lot of times. Google Display Network is pretty much like Facebook, okay? But Facebook is much more powerful in terms of the results it can get. But Google Display Network, you can pretty much tell them they're responsible for this disease called banner blindness. It's not really a disease. It is something that has happened to the industry, banner blindness, which means what banner blindness means. You literally ignore the ad that pops up in any website. Most of the people have started doing that because it screams ads. When you look at a banner ad in a website where you're consuming content, you're very likely to ignore that, at least most of you, if not everybody. If everybody ignores that, GDN, whenever you're running GDN ads, it wouldn't be receiving any clicks at all right? Uh, so yeah, GDN is like running Facebook ads, wherein you'll have to shoot to a certain audience, assuming that it is going to generate results for you. But unlike Facebook, where the data capability is pretty strong, the channel that can generate actual real conversions, GDN is not really that. But you can still use GDN effectively by picking and choosing some of the targeting options that we are going to tell you, right? And using it in more of an as part of the omni-channel strategy rather than using it individually. For example, some clients or your manager may come and ask you, hey, why are we not testing Google Display Network? And they might give you budget only for Google Display Network. Let's say they give you about a 50,000 rupee budget, okay, or a lakh rupee budget. Let's be a little more generous. So let's say you have a lakh budget and they're asking you to spend on Google Display Network and get some results for the business. Okay. Now what happens is, unlike Facebook, where you do have the potential to make at least that 1 lakh and more, Google Display Network is not going to get that for you. Okay. Because while as much as I can say that, it occupies a 90%, more than 90% of the websites in the internet, but the problem is more than 90% of the websites are actually junk websites. There are very few, very small percentage of the websites that are actually good websites, okay, which has the potential of converting an audience, which has the highest reputation. But the problem with Google Display Network is, wherever Google Display Network puts your banner are questionable kind of websites. At least, they lack the quality that you want that website to have. So like I said, GDN ads may not be as powerful as Google ads. It is definitely worth testing. So anything that drives traffic, forget about quality, a decent quality traffic, you should be testing out that channel. Okay. So from our perspective, we use GDN mostly mostly with the placement targeting options, which means we pick and choose the websites that we want GDN to show ads on. Especially what happens is, when you're doing media buying from somebody like Economic Times or Your Story, right? When you buy direct media from them, it's going to be really expensive. I mean, they charge a premium and they give you inventory based on impressions. They will give you CPM inventory. They will say, look, our CPM cost is 140 rupees and you can buy as many impressions as we want. Our homepage inventory might cost you 7 lakh rupee for a day. And we are not responsible for any results. We can tell you that approximately 1 million visitors come to our homepage every day, but there is no promise on the results. At least when you use GDN to place ads on these websites, at least you can pay for a click. You can be satisfied at least a click is happening. When you just pay for impressions, you don't really know what is happening to that money. right? So we generally use for GDN for remarketing. When we run remarketing ads, we don't really restrict anywhere. But if you are running GDN for a cold audience, for a fresh audience, we usually go for placement targeting. But there are a couple of other targeting options that you could potentially use. We have run a few tests and we have understood the quality of the inventory that GDN is offering under certain targeting is improving slowly. All right. So let's recall a very quick lesson from week 2. Especially when you're unsure of the audience that you're targeting, your creative will have to do the heavy lifting. If you remember, Facebook ads, when we're talking about Facebook ads, in the copywriting and ad designing module, I clearly remember telling you this, your creative will have to do the heavy lifting because you're showing up in front of an audience who don't really have an intent to buy your product. You remember pattern interrupt ads that we were talking about? You may not be able to create pattern interrupt exactly the way that you created on Facebook through GDN, but you definitely can create, really eye-grabbing kind of a website, the design, and with a really powerful copy that can actually push user to visit your websites. Okay. Now, GDN also similar to Facebook offer view-through conversions, but as of today, as we speak today, I think we are in the month of June 2021. The view-through conversions of Facebook also screwed up, right? After iOS 14, GDN was already had a very bad product when it comes to view-through conversion. So this is not a trustworthy number, though we all would love to trust Google when it comes to the conversion rate that they give, but the view-through conversions that GDN offers is not even close to what Facebook was offering earlier, right? But the impact of the GDN can be measured with incrementality. We call it incremental conversions. I will give you a simple scenario, and it's a good keyword, especially if you're trying to crack an interview or you're having a conversation with a client, you have to talk about incrementality. It's very simple. Don't get confused. Let's say I'm running Google ads, Google search ads, and Facebook ads. Okay. And I'm not doing any GDN at all in use case number 1. Use case number 2, I'm using Google ads, I'm using Facebook ads, plus I'm using GDN as well, right? I'm going to run use case 1 for 14 days and use case 2 for 14 days. Okay. Let's say use case 1 gave you 25 conversions at the same budget, and the use case 2 gave you 30 conversions just by adding GDN. Okay. This difference between 30 and 20 conversions is the incrementality, right? I just gave you a hypothetical number, and the real numbers could look very different. But whenever you run something omni-channel, you're literally present in every channel that the consumer has the potential to go out on, your results will invariably increase, but it won't increase multifolds. There will be an incrementality in the overall revenue that you're generating, in the overall conversions that you're generating, provided you have a great copy and you have a great value proposition. Okay. So that's called incremental conversions. People refer to incrementality. A lot of startups today, they use this terminology called incremental conversions. It's actually quite simple. You use 2 channels in one test and you use 3 channels in another test. The 3 channels might possibly give you better results. You subtract that result with the use case 1, you're going to get the incremental percentage. Okay. All right. So GDN offers you, predominantly 3 types of targeting. While we were talking about the targeting blueprint in the initial module of this week, we did talk about this, but I'm going to give you a very quick recap in this context. So you can do audience targeting, you can do content targeting, and you can do demographic targeting. Now, under audience, Google gives you the GDN gives you multiple options. One is affinity and custom affinity. Do you remember? Affinity is like we are giving instruction to Google to find similar audiences. Sorry, that is custom affinity. Affinity is just, categories. Some of the categories like, lifestyle, hobby, fitness, gaming, these affinity categories will be provided in the GDN interface and you can pick and choose. I'm not really big fan of this affinity audiences. Never in my life, it has given me positive results. It is mostly from a traffic perspective. If you measure, the affinity targeting may sound good, but on paper, when you actually measure it with, the actual conversions, ROI, and the incrementality, it doesn't really add much of a benefit, at least in my perspective. So you can test it again for yourself, and you can be the better judge whether affinity is a good way of targeting or not. Custom affinity, yes, it definitely has offered better results, because here is where we are giving Google a URL, and we are going to ask Google to find audiences similar to the visitors of this URL. Okay. Then you can use in market, then you can use custom intent. In market audiences are people in the market, who are looking for a specific product, right? This is a no-brainer audience for always testing. I mean, in market audience is something that you should definitely test. In fact, a pro tip here is you can look up your Google Analytics, and Google Analytics gives you your visitors in market data. Under the demographic data, you will get the visitors, the type of visitors that are coming to your website has these in-market audiences. You can take that data and feed it back to your GDN campaign targeting. In case if you are keen on doing it, it should ideally give better results than just doing open targeting. Then there is custom intent. Custom intent, like I said, very clearly tell Google, I want those exact visitors. I give yourstory.com. If you have the capability of targeting that visitors, give me that audience, right? That is custom intent. Then you can, of course, do remarketing that is very similar to what Facebook can offer. You can target website visitors. You can target add to cart visitors, product, viewed visitors. You can target all of them. Similar to lookalike audience on Facebook, in Google, they call it similar audiences. Similar audiences is exactly what Facebook offers in the terms of lookalike audience. But again, it's not even close in terms of the effectiveness. When you test Facebook lookalike audience, it would have certainly delivered results for you in most of the cases. But when you do the similar thing with Google using similar audience itself is the terminology, I haven't had positive success. So if I have to pick and choose, specific targeting that at least as a priority that you should be testing, you should definitely go for in-market, followed by custom intent, followed by custom affinity. Remarketing is anyway something that you will be running. I mean, that's a no-brainer. But within the direct cold audience targeting, if I have to pick and choose by the order of priority, that would be in-market, followed by custom intent, then custom affinity. Similar audience, up to you to test. Okay. Then under demographics, it's the regular demographics that Google offers across most of their products: gender, age, whether they're a parent or single. You can target people by household income. Google gives you this percentage, 10%, top 20% kind of breakup they give you. If you're selling a product that is slightly high net worth, you have to go for the very top of this income category. Don't ask me how Google gets this data. There are two ways that Google and Facebook gets income data. Okay. One is they genuinely get market research done in different pockets and they extrapolate that data to different demographics. Number two is based on the content consuming patterns, they make using their machine learning, they make a judgment call. Let's say if you're consuming Lamborghini related content, you might fall into a certain category. If you're checking out stock market news, you might fall into a certain income category, right? I mean, it's not written anywhere, but that's a basic understanding that we have around the household income targeting. But the number one where they do partner with market research agencies to get data and feed it back into the system, that happens in the US. I do not know how much that happens in India. Okay. The third type of targeting is, content targeting. This is where you will get the placement targeting, which I always keep talking about. Exactly choose the website where you want to run your ads on. And they also have keyword and topic targeting. Keyword is, let's say, what you're telling, let's say if you're putting apartment as a keyword targeting, it will ideally show your ads in content where the keyword apartment is mentioned. I mean, that could have been any website. Irrespective of that, it will start showing unless you add negative targeting of websites you don't want to show. Topic is more like the whole website. For example, your story is about startups. IREF, it's about real estate, right? There is 7 investing, which is all about investing, right? So if you want to choose a topic, it will select a website that talks predominantly about this topic and you can run your ads. Again, I haven't had major success. You might want to check with Ashwin or his opinion on topic targeting. If I have to choose something from here, that would be placements. I haven't had success with keywords and topics. I really hope when you test, you get results. But as we speak, GDN is a very important product for Google and they keep on improving. It may not be a perfect product for you to market, but they keep improving, just like with all their other products. Okay. If I have to give you an example scenario of a curated targeting, in the audience, you can pick up under affinity, you can pick up real estate, and under topic, you can pick up real estate, and under keyword, you can pick up buy apartment, provided if you're selling an apartment. Okay. Then another thing, let's say if you're selling a car, you might want to pick affinity as auto enthusiast, and the custom affinity, you might want to put Hyundai, Kia, your Maruti Suzuki website, and all of that URLs you can put. So now, this is more like a narrow targeting, unlike Facebook. The default setting is or unless you specifically mention. in this case, it is more of narrow targeting. It will ideally look for the combination of these audiences. So especially if you're testing GDN, go for combinations of audience, or go for only placements, okay, or go for only in market, or you can curate something like this, which you believe is going to hit jackpot for you, okay. This is the recommended account structure similar to Google Ads, where I said you have Google Search Ads, campaign, ad groups, and ads. Exactly, GDN is in the same interface. The structure is very similar, but in terms of setting up your account, unlike where we had tightly teamed it based on keywords, here you set it up similar to your Facebook campaign. There is a prospecting campaign that we can run to cold audience who doesn't know about you at all. Where you can exclude all your website visitors, or you can run a remarketing campaign where you can target specific. You can target all visitors. You can target specific page visitors. Just like Facebook. You should be able to do that, but it doesn't. The remarketing, GDN remarketing, is not even close to what Facebook can offer. So Google is known for its different products. Facebook is known for different capabilities. So it's not really an apple to apple comparison, but I have to draw parallels so you can understand that you can set up very similar campaigns on both the platforms. Okay. Yeah. So that is account structure. Then, display ads, there are broadly 3 types of display ads that you can run. You can run static ads if you really want to have a control of exactly how it should look like. For example, this is a static ad, beautiful ad, right? Spotify. Talking about this, go check out what other ads Spotify is running using Moat. And the other tools that we have discussed in the previous modules. Go check out their Facebook ad library. Good choice of color. I mean, maybe the color of the call to action button is not really working for me as a person, but you never know. The data might be better. So this is the static display ad where you have complete control over everything that is there. This is the exact ad that will be shown, but you remember the pro tip, you have to create ads for all the dimensions. You cannot leave out dimensions. Okay. You have to create ads mandatorily for all the dimensions that each of these channels are asking you. The next one is a responsive display ad. This is very similar to RSA, responsive search ad. You remember? Where we fed 15 headlines and 4 descriptions. Similarly, here also you can give multiple creatives, multiple headlines, and Google Display Network will use its machine learning algorithm to mix and match and report performance for you. Okay, and it will optimize the best performing combinations automatically on its own. You can trust at least Google to do that job. Okay. The third thing is dynamic ads, dynamic display ads, which is very similar to the Facebook catalog ads. If you know Facebook catalog ads, it actually shows ads based on what you have visited. Let's say if you have gone to Amazon, you have checked out some home appliances, and you have checked out some smartphones, and you have checked out some curtains for your house, Amazon will run a carousel ad on your Facebook, which is the exact products that you had visited or the similar products that you had visited, right? So that's catalog ads that you typically run on Facebook. Dynamic display ads is very similar to catalog ads on Facebook, wherein you can actually show ads based on the browsing pattern of users. You can show them those exact combinations. Sometimes while you're browsing on different websites, you would have seen some of these e-commerce websites. I've seen Pepperfry doing that a lot. ClearTrip does that, where they show you exactly the destination that you were looking up. Similarly, e-commerce website can show the products that the users has browsed or similar products. Okay, so that is dynamic display ads. In terms of performance, if I have to say, it's questionable. Remarketing ads always work because of the familiarity, but between static and responsive, ad, I would actually pick static, because at least from a branding perspective, it gives me much better control instead of letting the machine do the job in terms of mixing and matching headlines. This talks my brand, and at least people will look at it. It will add value from a branding standpoint, if not conversion standpoint. All right. Okay, that's display ads, and we will. Don't worry. We will set up a dummy campaign and show it to you. But it should be relatively easy now that you understand all of that. But we will definitely set up a dummy campaign and show it to you, or at least we'll find a YouTube video where things are being set up. All right. Okay. The next one is video advertising, which is we are going to be specifically talking about YouTube and YouTube partners. Okay. Now, many of the people do not realize that YouTube is actually the second largest search engine in the world. It is not Yahoo, it is not Bing, It is YouTube, which is the second largest search engine in the world. After Google, this is where people actually go to look for answers, look for how-tos, look for recipes, you name it. All the way from entertainment to education to getting inspired, people go to YouTube. YouTube receives over 5 billion views in a day. It is extremely popular for training type of videos. For example, you need tutorials, demos, and stuff like that. When people are want to get inspired by doing research, it's a fantastic place people go to. People look up a lot of reviews. People look up a lot of how-to videos. Uh, this YouTube is actually much more powerful than Google Display Network, at least in my opinion, right? There could be other people who comes with a different opinion, but based on my experience of having worked with over 150 brands, YouTube is far better than Google Display in terms of the intent of the audience. Okay, because like I said, Google Display is unwarranted. You're showing up in front of people totally unrelated, assuming that Google is showing the ads to the right person, whereas YouTube has some sense behind it. Okay, because the content sits inside a platform. We know exactly why the audience go there. So even if branding is the objective, YouTube does a better job than Google Display Network. All right. So of course, apart from the cute baby videos and the TikTok inspired YouTube short, we are not going to be talking about any of those videos. In fact, do not even show up on any of those videos, because if people want to watch a cute baby video and you're in front of them asking you to buy your collaboration software, or you are asking them to buy your digital transformation consulting solution, they will hate you. Okay, so do not show up in front of these videos. There are different targeting that YouTube offers, very similar to Google Display Network. YouTube also offers your placement targeting, where you can pick and choose specific channels, specific videos, and run your ads. Okay, very, very powerful from that perspective. I think we talked a few about this already. YouTube ads are very similar to display networks in terms of targeting. You can actually target people based on the keywords. Unlike GDN also offers keyword targeting, right? But you can show up in any random website that the user is browsing. Whereas in YouTube, it is likely a video that talks about that particular keyword, right? If you go to YouTube today and if you search for something, you're very likely to see a few ads that is very relevant to what you came here to browse for. So that is why YouTube is much more powerful. Of course, you can show video based on interests. You very similar to Facebook. If you want to target the people who watched your video, you can do that on YouTube. You can retarget, very similar to GTN. We talked about retargeting. You can retarget all visitors. You can retarget specific product, pages. You can retarget add to cart viewers. All the stuff happens here. The reason why YouTube is powerful than GDN is because of the context of the platform and the content it holds. It's very, very powerful. Okay. Yes, similar to GDN display ads, people generally avoid clicking on YouTube ads as well, because people go there to watch the video. They want to watch the video, and you're showing up in front of them, despite being very relevant. And it's not the behavior of people when they see an ad to click on the call to action on the video ad. So your outbound clicks that comes from YouTube will be marginal compared to what you can generate out of GDN. But having said that, it will do the job of branding, which means at least you're staying on top of the mind of the user. If they're not performing an action, then they might take an action a little later, but your brand has done the job. At least you've registered something in their brain. If you've seen, Zomato does this very well all the time. They'll be running this 6-second ad before you watch any video. Zomato, order food, Zomato online, right? And it works for Zomato. I mean, if it is not working, a brand like Zomato would not continue doing it. At least register that in people's brain. We were running a poll inside the community, and I was expecting a lot of Swiggy users, but it turned out there were a lot of Zomato users in the community, right? Which means Zomato has done the job well in pockets of areas, be it with their branding or making the availability of restaurants. Totally off topic, but yeah, you get the idea. People do their best to skip that. People will be looking for that skip button on YouTube, okay? Because having said that, just like display ads, YouTube ads can work very well from a brand awareness and engagement perspective for familiar brands. Okay, the reason Zomato ads are working is because you're familiar of Zomato, you know exactly what Zomato is, and it is just a reminder per se for you to order your food. Okay, but let's say if you're a brand new product, something you're not aware, people are not aware of your brand, you're showing up in front of people, they're very likely to ignore you. Okay, So the GDN and YouTube actually works very well in terms of incrementality, increasing the amount of ROI that you get out of your campaign because of the omni-channel presence. Your GDN covers 90% of the web. The rest of the people will come to YouTube. You should be able to catch the visitors somehow, right? At least as an omni-channel strategy, the media mix, it is actually working pretty well. Okay. So just like display ads, YouTube ads can resonate very well if you have an attention-grabbing video. There could be a few instances where you literally paused to watch the ad. You remember? Though there was a skip button, you still ended up watching that ad because that ad was done nicely, right? But unlike Facebook ads, where I told you that recommendation of UGC, you cannot run that on YouTube. Okay, YouTube, a lot of large advertisers compete for user attention. It is almost like the second TV, which means only high quality videos get the attention. Not the Facebook user generated content. That works pretty well for Facebook. YouTube, you need high quality videos that calls for production, and which is why you are not able to run enough experiments on YouTube. If you're able to do that with really smart videos, if you can increase the production capacity, if you can hire an in-house production team to shoot all these videos, YouTube has the potential to deliver performance. Okay, it is proven. It is proven in multiple case studies. Unfortunately, in my experience, I just couldn't do YouTube the way I wanted to, but it is extremely powerful. All right. Definitely works in incrementality. That is something I have seen. But direct conversion from YouTube, that is something that I haven't seen. So you'll have to test for yourself and see, because I just wasn't able to convince anybody to shoot as many videos that I want. It is easy for us to create 100 different static creatives, but to make 10 different videos, it calls for a big investment. All right. So these are the different types of YouTube ads that are available. There is your in-stream ads. In-stream ads is when you're watching a video, you get that video ad, right? That is called in-stream ad. Okay. And there is bumper ads. Bumper ads are very quick 6-second ads. That's non-skippable in nature. Most of the ads that Zomato run is bumper ads. They would have just popped up in front of you without disturbing you too much. They would have communicated that message and they would have gotten out of your face. Bumper ads work very well, at least from a branding and engagement standpoint, and it doesn't disturb the user. They know that it'll get over very quickly. Okay. Then of course you can run overlay ads. Overlay ads is like, you might have seen a banner on top of a video, right? That is called overlay ads. It's not really a video, it's more like an image. You can run skippable video ads, which usually gives the option to user to skip after 5 seconds. You can do that. You can do non-skippable video ads as well, which means you can make people mandatorily watch the video, but the duration should be 15 seconds. You cannot put a 1-hour video, which you will be able to promote, but user will get the skip ad option after 15 seconds. So if your video is lesser than 15 seconds, you can make people mandatorily watch. For example, 6 seconds is a really difficult job. It may look like a small one, but for you to communicate a strong message within 6 seconds, it is going to be a challenging job. Your video will invariably increase its duration. And for those of you, you have 15 seconds, which is a skippable video ad and non-skippable video ad. Bumper ad, we already talked about. It's that very quick 6 second that just flashes before you watch that video. And there are some outstream campaigns as well. I honestly haven't tested this. This is similar to GDN, where the YouTube video that you are promoting will show up in the partner websites and not on YouTube. Okay. I honestly haven't tested this. Right? You might want to check with somebody who has tried this. Okay, you have literally only 5 seconds to impress the user. Okay, and you have to really get quickly to who you are, explain your value proposition, show all the enticing features that you have to offer, and communicate it with a strong call to action. Unless your call to action is not strong, people will not take that action, because people are in the mood of watching the video that they wanted. If your communication, if you have the value proposition and the call to action is not strong, people won't click on that call to action. Okay. So job easier said than done, but there are a lot of people who have cracked it. In fact, Google itself has a fantastic library of best YouTube ads, and I will probably add that, try and find that link and add it to the modules. Yeah. There is one more relatively new ad unit, and we have seen this working for performance very well. We have tested it for lead gen, tested it for app download. We have tested it for e-com as well, but that e-com, didn't really contribute much success. but it has certainly worked in terms of app download. It has certainly worked for lead gen. Quality of leads questionable, but this is probably the best ad unit that has shown us performance in terms of numbers. Otherwise, the way we have been measuring YouTube has always been in terms of view, how the view duration and the view through rate. How many people after viewing they clicked on a landing page and they came. And that number is marginal. So invariably, the YouTube measurement was restricted to the number of views that you can potentially achieve. But this particular ad unit, while a YouTube, you might have noticed it on your Android mobile device. I don't think it is available on iOS, but definitely on your Android mobile device, you would have seen that ad, which also comes with a strong call to action. Okay, so that is a one of the better performing performance ad unit from a YouTube perspective, and you should be able to find this ad unit, under in-stream video ads. And while you're setting up discovery campaigns will have a certain measurement. It will automatically show up on YouTube. Okay, but there is very little control that you have when you do discovery ad. It's more like a smart campaign and not really like a regular YouTube campaign or a GDN campaign. All right. In terms of account structure, very, very similar to the GDN account structure that I was talking about. You can have a prospecting campaign where you exclude all your website visitors, and you can have a retargeting campaign where you target all your website visitors, okay, by different pages. And you can break this between different formats of ads. For example, a prospecting in stream, a retargeting in stream, you can do that. A prospecting discovery, you can do that. A prospecting bumper, you can do. So you can, though it looks like two campaigns, it is two into as many formats that you want to test. So if you have a 15-second video, then you'll be testing in stream, prospecting in stream, and retargeting in stream. If you have a 6-second, then you'll be testing prospecting bumper and retargeting bumper. Okay. So similar to Facebook, you can retarget video viewers on YouTube. For example, if you have a YouTube channel and organically, if you're getting a lot of views, or with the help of ads, you have gotten views on your video, you can retarget these features for much better brand consideration. All right. Cool. So that takes me to the next ad unit I wanted to talk about. The next campaign type I want to talk about is Google Shopping. Very, very powerful from an e-commerce perspective, because strong intent. And this is how a Google Shopping ad look like. There are different types of Google Shopping ads. Okay. There is product shopping ad. It looks like this, where, when you're searching for a product, it will look, the gallery will throw up right in front. Okay. There is showcase shopping ads, showcase shopping ads. Okay. There's too much of, I don't know what you call it, tongue twister. All right. So the showcase shopping ad will look like this, wherein different images of the same product, for better conversion rates, it happens, it will look like this. Sometimes you would have seen this for smartphone. You would have seen this for apparel. Yeah. So this is showcase shopping ads. And there is local shopping ads as well. For example, sometimes if you're shopping a product and it would have shown you, oh, hey, you can buy it from this store. And it will actually guide you the direction to that store. And once you open the product detail page, you can run an ad there as well, which can again have a call to action, call as a call to action button, or a direction as a call to action button, right? Which will, show the related items, other items in the store as well. So predominantly, I haven't tried this a lot, so I can't really comment. Maybe you can ask this question from Ashwin, but this we have definitely tested a lot, especially this product shopping ads work brilliantly from a conversion angle, but provided you have an omni-channel strategy, provided there is brand familiarity. You can't just show up a random product and expect people to buy. Okay. If the same product is available in Amazon at a higher price, people will choose Amazon and not your unfamiliar website. Okay. This is where branding again is key. If people are aware of your brand, they're aware of your value proposition, they have somehow interacted with you in the past, or they are your customers already, then the sale will likely happen. This is the reason people generally say, hey, Facebook campaigns is working very well. The Google Shopping ads doesn't really give enough ROAS. It's because of the brand familiarity. It's not the Google Shopping's problem, it's the brand familiarity problem. If it is not working, you will not see Amazon doing this. Amazon is heavy on this. If you have noticed, you would have very likely seen product shopping campaigns of Amazon, because Amazon knows the game. All right. Yeah. So more on shopping ads in terms of, how to set up campaigns. And Ashwin is going to help out in terms of optimization. There is very little optimization that you can do. like Google search, where you have a lot of opportunities for optimization, there is the control on optimization in very less, and Ashwin will definitely talk more about it. And I'll catch up with you in the next module.